And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Going nuCLEar, full-blown coverage of the land, part of Collectin' and Connectin' Good Vibes Community. I'm Ethan Greenberg, and alongside of me is my co-host, Mike Rasinski. Mike, how we doing this evening, buddy?
Doing good. It's like 80 degrees outside. We've got the MAC tournament coming up, the Cavs playing. Let's see, free agency for the Browns and the World Baseball Classic and the Guards. It's a pretty good week.
It is. You know what's funny? I just thought about that as you brought all those things up, Mike. We were just talking about kind of the dead period after the Super Bowl and what's going on. Is there anything going on? And now all of a sudden we've got plenty to talk about.
Yes.
There is no, no rest for the weary.
Yeah. And on top of that, we had our fourth grade basketball playoffs.
How'd that go?
Our seventh seeded team of fourth graders beat the second seeded team. And then we lost by 1 point in the next round in the semifinals. So it was a little bit heartbreaking for the kids, but a super successful season. And then Carter on our seventh grade team, they've got the semifinals on Saturday. So I'll have to report back next week how they do.
Absolutely. I am looking forward to getting that report. That is super exciting. Watching the kids play, that's great. And I know your kids are into lots of sports, so they know the ups and the downs of what it means to win and lose, right?
It's good life lessons for them.
It sure is. It sure is. I mean, we're more used to the losing, so it's more so than the.
I would say I think the 1 point loss on Sunday kind of probably hurt me more than it hurt the kids. They were resilient. They were playing games afterwards, and I was still deep down. What could we have done different? So they were better at it than I am.
It's kind of crazy like that. It really is that. That would happen. So I get it. I completely understand where you're coming from there. So yeah, just a big week, as you said, in sports, all kinds of crazy things happening. But you mentioned the weather, Mike, and I just thought I'd, throw this out there. I just looked at the forecast and I knew that it was going to be, we were going to hit a downturn in the temperatures here in the Commonwealth by next week. All of a sudden, I looked, the forecast for Richmond on Thursday is 47 degrees.
Is it really? I haven't even looked that far ahead. Apparently I don't want to.
It's going to be 86 tomorrow and 47 Thursday. But then it'll come back up. I'm like, oh, man.
We don't need that.
You got to be. I don't even know, man. I don't even know. I'm looking forward to this. But how is it that weeds don't die under the snow? All that ice and snow we had and the weeds don't die?
It's a great question. I wish I knew the answer to that. We'd be millionaires if we could solve that problem.
We would be. I need to do some landscaping, and I'm not looking forward to that. So at least I can say if we have some cold weather, then that's my excuse. Oh, it's not time yet. It's not time. Until some bozo breaks out their lawnmower, and then you get in the mower competition, who's got their yard maintained, on a regular basis. You don't want to fall behind the curve there.
I feel like that could be a Going nuCLEar section for you.
Oh, trust me, it is. It is. It will be. I've got something that's right up my sleeve. It's definitely got me peeved and perturbed today, as per the usual. So it's all good. It is all good. Yeah, well, let's get it started here, my man. Let's get it started. How about we talk a little Cavaliers? How about we let them know and talk a little Cavaliers here? Things have been going really well, for the Cavs, but they had a bit of a speed bump on Sunday against the Celtics.
Yeah,
and that was not good.
Yeah, it has been a weird few weeks where we lose to Detroit, we beat Detroit, we lose to Oklahoma City, We beat New York. We lose, like you're talking about, to Boston now on Sunday. So it's been up and down for sure.
Yeah, it is just it's just crazy. That's the best way I can describe it. Is that it's just crazy how these things seem to be happening for the Cavs with the consistency, and you start to wonder about it. But last night they get this win over Philadelphia. Now, granted, Philadelphia was depleted. There was no Joel Embiid, no Tyrese Maxey got injured the day before, no VJ Edgecombe, and Paul George is out on suspension. So we should have cruised to a victory, and we ultimately did. Started
Yeah.
off slow. They get the win. First of all, just to kind of reiterate, as we've probably already discussed a little bit here, now we've got a decent sample size. How are you feeling about James Harden as we've continued along here?
I like it. It's been good so far. It's better than what Darius could give us. I guess it's encouraging. He's playing through a broken finger too, and he's still providing really good results with that broken finger playing through it. You can never get that through Garland. Um,
No, he just unfortunately his durability is not there, and that might just have to do with his physical stature.
yeah,
It makes it a little bit difficult, and we're even seeing Keon Ellis again. It's just non-shooting him, but he's playing through a broken finger too.
yeah. And I don't know if you feel the same way, but every time Harden has the ball, I actually have confidence that something good will happen. Either he'll do a step back three, or he'll find Jared Allen down low, or make some great outlet pass. Whenever Garland had the ball, all I was thinking is he's gonna lose it somehow on the dribble drive to the basket. He'll get it blocked, or he'll jump up and not know what he wants to do with it and just throw it away.
That is like something they teach you in a fundamental in basketballs. Do not jump in the air with the ball. You need to know where you're going to go. And Drew, my man, thank you for tuning in. We had a 4 day, was it a 4 day or 5 day layoff,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. And we came back and it was as if we had forgotten how to play basketball again. It was absolutely, as Drew points out, it was brutal.
which
It
which
was
is
brutal.
not good because playoffs are like that too, where you have games off, days off between games.
Yeah, you get days off, and then sometimes if you finish a series early, you do. Last year we kicked the snot out of Miami. We waited around for Indiana a little bit. By the time we got to them, of course, injuries hit, all kinds of craziness, but there is that question of rest versus rust. Um, James Harden last night, he reached the 29,000 point mark. He is only the ninth player in NBA history to do that. Hey, Mike, thank you for joining us from across the pond as always. Dean Wade continues to be in the starting lineup. Jared Allen is sidelined. He knocked knees with somebody, I think, during that Detroit game on a week ago Sunday. And so he's been out a few games. It's like, how many different guys have contusions?
I know, I know. At least it's happening now, not in the playoffs, I
Yeah,
guess.
I agree. I guess we're gonna have to give him those big knee pads like Patrick Ewing wore in the past.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Have you
That and
noticed
some finger braces.
that too? Have you noticed in your kids' basketball league, are most of them wearing low tops? Do any of them wear high tops anymore? Or is that a
Oh
thing of
no,
the past?
it's whatever sneakers they pull on that day, and none of them are
Ah.
basketball shoes.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes.
That's great. It must be nice to be that young and flexible and stuff of that nature. I have found that even going out and my age, yeah, I don't even know, aging and my knees, they're terrible. If I go out and I'm shooting baskets and I've just got my running shoes on or what are considered running shoes, my knees don't fare too well. My feet hurt too. So
Yeah.
I have to throw on the basketball sneakers.
I was gonna say they don't hurt after that too.
Not as bad to be quite honest. They do much better. It's just a different type of, I guess,
Do,
different
do you have the
cushioning.
pumps?
You know what, Mike? I don't now, but I did back then. I did have a pair of the pumps, the Insta pumps.
Oh, that was fancy.
I did. I didn't just have the little ball. I
Right.
had the whole Instapump thing there. All right, what do we got here? Tyson needs to start over Wade at this point. But offensively provides nothing. And that's a question we're going to have to ask ourselves here, is what the rotation is going to be looking like as we go forward with it. It appears now Max Strus is getting closer to being able to come back. Whose minutes are going to get sacrificed here?
And what do you think about saving some of your better players for the second unit? There's been talk about, do you put one of your big men, not start them so you have another big man coming off the bench against the other team's second unit? Maybe that's what you do with Wade and Tyson. Although Tyson's the better offensive option, maybe that's what you want going against the other team's second unit. I mean, I don't know. We've tried a lot of different lineups too.
We've had to. We've had to try a bunch of different lineups. What did we say last week? We were talking about the fact that they at that point had 31 different starting lineups in 62 games, I mean, which is absolutely crazy to think about that. Dean Wade. So last night, we play our game rather than trying to beat them at their game. We're going to get to that, Mike. That's a good question there about playing into the Celtics' hands. I've actually got some to talk about there. So last night, for those who didn't catch the box score, Cavs win over the 76ers. Dean Wade, 13 points in 20 minutes. So we had, 6 players in double figures. Mobley, 15 and 8. Harden, 21, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Mitchell was 17 points, 6 assists. So a quiet night for him. Tyson off the bench, 11. Keon Ellis. It's amazing how different role players can step up at different times. We've had Dennis Schroeder be very key in other games. Last night, Keon Ellis, 4 of 7 from beyond the three-point arc, 19 points. But what the heck is going on with Sam Merrill?
Well, I mean, it's nice that you have a guy like Keon Ellis steps up when Merrill's having a bad game. A few games ago, Merrill was like 6 for 8 or something from you. It comes and goes. So as long as you have somebody that's hot and keep feeding them, it's great to have those options. And if you have Strus coming back, yet another good option off the bench for this year, I think that could help.
Yeah, Drew, absolutely. Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder, those were huge acquisitions. That was a great move to get those guys. I'm loving the way they are fitting in here, and we'll have to see how it all gets put together when we get to the playoffs, because we're going to have some tough matchups, and that's just the way it goes. Right now, the Cavs, for those of you, if you haven't looked at the standings, the Cavs are 6 games behind Detroit for the number 1 seed. That's probably not going to happen. Although Detroit's on a 4-game losing skid, they need to be worried because the Celtics are suddenly breathing down their necks. And they're in the 2 seed. They are only 2.5 behind Detroit. Boston is 2.5 behind Detroit. We are a half game behind New York for the 3 seed suddenly.
Yeah. Well, and so here's an interesting, I think, facet of all this is we have a pretty easy schedule the rest of the way. We don't play, any of the top teams anymore. We have a few teams with winning records, but there's no Bostons or Detroits or San Antonios left, which for one thing, it'll boost our record. I think it could easily bump us up into the 2 or 3 seed. But will it give us a false sense of security heading into the playoffs if we go on a nice run, beating the Washingtons and the Atlantas of the league?
Mike, if you weren't listening to Cleveland radio today, that's the exact take that they had, a discussion that they had. So you are on point. You just know your talking points is what it is. And I don't know. I think that it will be a matter of how are they doing it, as opposed to the actual result. We need to see consistency out there. You have to have the mental game as well as the physical. All of it's got to work together. The fact that we came out and we played against the Celtics the way we did, we got pulled into their style of game and we got burned. And here's the question then. as well that I was going to get to is talking about matchups in terms of and the seeding. There's a possibility. There's two things could happen. One, we could move up to at least the 3 seed. We may end up still having it. We may be facing Boston, potentially have a Boston in the second round. Or Boston might overtake Detroit. Detroit might drop back to the 2. Or we might stay in the 4. Boston could overtake Detroit as the 1. I mean, I guess the Cavs just need to be playing their best basketball at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to have to beat Boston. If we think that's our biggest, fear, the team we haven't beat all year, whether you play them in the second round or the third round, you're eventually probably going to have to face them. So
yeah,
should we really does it even matter then if we're the 2-3 or the 1-4?
Right. No, I get it. I get it. And actually, I wouldn't completely poo-poo the Raptors, who we currently are set up to play in the first round. They're the 5 seed. And we've lost to them all 3 times we played them. Now, granted, those were early in the season, but we let, if you recall, early in the season, Jamison Battle, a rookie who played 1 year at Ohio State, looked like he was Larry Bird out there, the way he was shooting threes. And he's a good shooter, but it was ridiculous. It was another one of those games where we did not show up the way we should have, but we lost 3 times to that team.
Do you think this year is karma for when Tristan Thompson dunked with like 2 seconds left of a of a blowout?
It's possible. It's possible. Yeah, and Drew, I kind of agree. I don't want to see Boston until the Eastern Conference Finals, but it's like Mike said, we're going to eventually have to face these guys, and we've just got to be ready. The one thing I wanted to pull up and talk about a little bit here is Kenny Atkinson has talked time and time again about not getting pulled into another team's style of play. And it seems like that happens far too often. Mike, am I remembering this correctly? That Kenny Atkinson on more than one occasion, if not just against Boston, but possibly against others, talked about, well, we played their game. And if so, does that concern you?
Yeah, it concerns me that he has to say that all the time because that means he's not fixing it.
Right. Like that's a mental thing. And yes, Mike from the UK, you have confirmed that I'm not, forgetting something or I'm not missing something here. It's kind of like a la Kevin Stefanski's we've got to be better. There we go. Yeah, there's no avoidant. Just don't want them in the first round. Yeah, I don't think. Well, we're not going to end up with the Celtics in the first round. I think we're all right. I think we're going to be okay there if that's what you're talking about, Drew. But Kenny comes out. I got a couple quotes here from him that I pulled from Cleveland.com. So good. I thought our energy and force was below average in the first half. I thought the second half it was better. Great, but at that point you're down like 20. What the heck? Like, where was this?
Great. I mean, at that point, you're almost like to send a message. Just play the energy reserves that we have. The guys. Although that wasn't even working either against the Celtics. I don't know what the answer is. Obviously, Kenny doesn't know what the answer is either.
No. And what I prefer about Kenny to some other coaches is he will take a quick timeout. He doesn't wait around. If he sees something, even when we're winning, and they score, the other team scores a couple buckets, or we have a bad defensive possession, he will call timeout pretty quickly. He's not afraid to pull that trigger, and I like that. I do like that from him because I often feel like teams let things get out of control, and you don't stop the bleeding. And you need to get them in there, and it's taking them out of that mindset and getting them straight. It's kind of like how you deal with kids, and when you got to get their attention.
Yeah, I call timeouts all the time. Then in my house,
yes, you have to send them to the timeout. Maybe it's not the coaches don't call timeout, and Kenny Atkinson is going to send them all the timeout. Let's take a seat here on the bench, guys. We're going to listen now, and I'm going to lecture you.
Maybe, yeah. Well, maybe what he should do.
I think so. I think so. Another quote from him: "It's not one game, right? It seems like." Oh, and I take that back. Oh, is this? Yeah. I take it back. This is Kenny. Said it's not one game, right? It seems like with this team, we get down in a hole, a big hole, because they win their spots early, and then we react. He lamented, per the article. When you're in that big of a hole, it's too late, right? And it was. It was absolutely too late. We let these guys push us around and get everything they wanted. And when our shots aren't dropping, instead of going to the basket, instead of trying to get to the foul line, make something happen, we just keep firing away from three. I agree there were some good looks there, but at some point, at some juncture, might it not have been a better idea to change a little bit of what you were doing and try to get it inside? The defense of Boston is fantastic. I do have to credit them. The way they collapsed on anybody who got into the paint, and there was no spacing. They were able to get their hands on the ball. It was tough. They played really well. You got to give credit to Missoula and the Celtics.
Well, was their defense more of a reason we went 0 for 12 from 3-point range in the second quarter, or is that just us being off?
That's us being off. But the fact that we couldn't even get to the basket at multiple times, trying to get it in to whoever it was, whether it was a guard, whether it was Mobley, anybody, they would be able to swarm and get their hands on the ball, cause a turnover, and reap havoc. We were not great offensively. It was a bad look. It was a bad day on Sunday for the Cavs. That's kind of the nicest way I can put it.
And it was disappointing to see Tatum come back and have a good game too, with on like game 2.
Yeah.
Couldn't they have had some kind of he doesn't fit in anymore or something like that? No. Why does he have to fit right in and have a great game?
Exactly. I cannot believe he has made it back in about 10 months.
Yeah.
That's unreal, the medical science and the ability for him to bounce back. Now, he's got to be careful because if he came back too quickly, your body, regardless of how hard you train and what you do, it takes time to heal.
You don't want a Deshaun Watson, right? Where you trip on a curb and
dance on a boat, dance on a yacht.
Yeah,
you're dancing on a yacht or whatever that was. And James, I like some of James Harden we talked about him a little bit earlier in some of his comments about the Boston game. He said, that's the level we got to get to, Boston. Once we get there, because I know we're good enough, we will get there. Then we'll be a much better team. If we're making shots, we're going to blow teams out. Tonight, we didn't make shots, and we still gave ourselves a chance. It's that simple. Got 18 games to get there, and I know we will. So I like the leadership from James Harden. That's a good veteran presence to have. I know people kind of, and possibly when we started talking about the move right after it happened, there's questions about him and how much of a locker room guy he is, how much of a team guy he is. But so far, I've been pretty pleased with what he's done on the court for sure. And it sounds like in the locker room as well.
Yeah. And I really like it now that we have an option where we can play Mitchell with one set of players and Harden with another, and we don't really lose much. And then come crunch time, you can put them together and you've got multiple scoring opportunities. You didn't really have that with Garland. We thought we might have. It never matured into that.
It certainly didn't. And they could also take advantage of him defensively. They picked on Garland defensively, and that was a huge problem as well. Harden's not a great defender, but he's got more size.
And that's one thing we never talked about. Strus coming back too. He's a really good defender, and I'm really looking forward to having that back too.
Definitely, any more defense you can put out there, and even if he's not his best, he is a threat to shoot. He brings energy. And he plays, and along with that energy, he plays good, solid defense. I do like all of that. That's a great point. In that game against Boston, It wasn't just Brown and Tatum beating us. Baylor, Shireman, and Peyton Pritchard come off the bench and score in double figures. Shireman averages less than 5 points per game, and we made him look like an all-star. 4 or 6 from beyond the three-point arc.
You know what? And that's been a trend too, our perimeter defense. For as good of a team as we are, as scrappy as we are, and we upgraded our defense with these trades, it's still we'll have to look up the stats, but we have to be one of the worst defensive teams against the three. And it really hasn't gotten any better after the trades. For some reason, we are stuck in not being a good perimeter defensive team.
And actually, what it starts with is it's not just a perimeter D. It is the entirety of the communications. It's guys coming over to help when they don't need to help. I really hadn't noticed it, but then was pointed out to me, Jalen Tyson, he will go and help when he doesn't need to help, and it ends up leaving somebody open. I think that there are times that the guys are going to make shots, and that's fine. But for them to be wide open is just inexcusable. You know how good they are at shooting, and yet somehow we are not out on them. Somehow we are having a failure to communicate, and it leads to these easy shots, or there's rebounds and second shot opportunities. Just too many times we are caught with our pants down. And here's a stat. Mike, our statistician from across the pond, only Utah and Brooklyn are worse at defending the three.
And AI has told me the high percentages allowed are partly by design, as the team focuses on rim protection with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley.
Oh, really?
Which leave perimeter shooters open.
Okay.
So it was by design, apparently, according to Gemini.
Oh, wow. Hey, well, Gemini's very smart, apparently, here. And also, just to kind of keep this in mind, the Celtics didn't even have recently acquired Nikola Vukovic playing that day. So that's another guy that can stretch the floor for them, and he can shoot and he can rebound. Wow. I did not expect this type of a season out of Boston.
No, not at all. With especially with Tatum gone, and they're still playing like this. Yeah.
I was really hoping they were going to have a bit of a down year, but at the same time, it's all about who hits their stride at the right time. And when it comes to the playoffs, if you're not the team with the home court advantage, you got to win one road game. You got to be able to go in there and punch them in the mouth. And I think that we've got some guys that can do it. I'm hoping that with some veteran leadership, a la Harden, that along with Mitchell and Strus, those are good guys. Plus Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder's been around forever. We talked about how he's been with a lot of teams, but he's got a lot of experience, a lot of playoff experience. He's a leader out there. He's not going to put up with any nonsense.
Yeah. And you know what? Nobody remembers that you lost to the team 3 times in the regular season if you can bounce them in the playoffs.
Absolutely. No, that is absolutely correct. Why am I thinking that maybe the year we got, in one of the recent years that we've got knocked out by somebody, maybe it was the year we got knocked out by the Knicks in the second round. We had beaten them all season long. It feels like that might have happened, but
you're right. Yeah.
But that's just something that I thought I had seen recently. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what the Cavs have going on. But wasn't that crazy? They have a layoff, and then they play back-to-back. Why is that?
It makes no sense. This whole NBA season scheduling makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous. So when are the Cavs are back in action tomorrow at Orlando, correct? I believe on national TV, on ESPN. I'm sure they'll put like Stan Van Gundy on there and some other Cleveland hater. It'll be great. It'll be the best. And we've got and earlier this season we played the back-to-back games in Miami with I think maybe a day in between, and then they're going to do the same in Cleveland coming up. Cavs certainly have a chance to finish strong here this season, but I think it's about how they play and staying healthy as much as the results. So,
Yep.
oh boy, oh boy.
It should be a fun. At least it'll be a fun April to watch some basketball. We'll see how
I
this
was
all
worried.
plays out.
I was worried we weren't even going to make the playoffs.
Were you really at that, like when we were 17 and 16, that we were going to
Yeah,
drop
but
out?
it was. I mean, even it was crazy. About the halfway point of the season, we're a couple games over 500. I'm like, there's no way. There is no way this team is too inconsistent. Maybe we'll be like a playing team. I'm glad that we have turned it around. And it's so crazy because last year we had multiple winning streaks, like 2 15-game winning streaks or more, and a 12-game winning streak, and all this stuff. We haven't
No,
hit
we have not.
nothing like that this season, but it's been consistent. And, it really, Indiana proved last year again, get in, be playing your best basketball. And I think that a coach like Rick Carlisle, hopefully we take some lessons from him.
Yeah.
Hopefully we take some lessons from him. Yeah, 4 days off before back to back. What terrible scheduling! It's absolutely ridiculous.
It looks like we have 3 back-to-backs left in the season. For whatever that's worth. I don't know if that's a lot or not a lot with, whatever, 20 something games left, but
it's kind of crazy, to be honest. I just ridiculous. So that's what's going on with the Cavs. Let's move on here a little bit. The legal tampering period began yesterday. What the heck is what legal tampering?
I don't know. I would love to see it. So what I as I understand it, and I don't understand a lot about this, is so you can talk to teams and announce what you're going to do with the players, but you can't sign them till Wednesday or something. Now, if that's true, I would love to see like one of these free agent signings just not sign on Wednesday, just like dox the team that they're negotiating with. And just kidding. I'm not
That
actually signing with you. Screw up your entire plans.
that would be kind of funny. That would be kind of funny. I know it was not exactly the same, but like when Carlos Boozer screwed over Gordon Gund.
Yes. Oh man, I'm still angry about that.
How you gonna screw over a blind guy?
Yeah, no.
Come on, man.
Oh,
Poor
I just
dude trusted you, and you hosed him.
looks like we got another offensive lineman, by the way, too, on ESPN.
Yeah, this afternoon. So I assume you're talking about the news that came out this afternoon. The Browns, it appears they're bulking up the offensive line, or trying to get the reinforcements to rebuild it, because Conklin is gone, Teller is gone. I believe Posic's going to be gone, and we're waiting on word from Batonio. They gave him the extension to try and figure this out. I believe today is the deadline. I don't know what they're going to do. So it's possible without Batonio. DeJuan Jones is coming off injury. It's a bit of a mess. So far, so you're talking about Elgton Jenkins, Mike?
Yep.
Okay, Elgton. Today we have we have come to an agreement with Elgton Jenkins coming over from the Packers. He's a guard / center, seven seasons in the league, all with the Packers. Okay, that a seasoned veteran. And last week we talked about it was Titus Howard, right, Mike?
That's right. Yep.
Titus Howard. And yesterday we reached a deal with Zion Johnson, a guard from the Chargers. So far we have picked up 3 pieces to the offensive line.
And I saw 2 that we re-signed Tevin Jenkins as well. So we have 2 Jenkins on the team, on the line, actually.
Exactly. So someone's going to get Jenkins, and 2 guys going to turn around and one of those deals. The Browns, we lose Devin Bush, who had a great season last year. He had so much potential, and it just never reached it for Pittsburgh. He came into Cleveland, did an excellent. He was very, very good last year. Probably one of our better defensive players outside of Schlesinger and Garrett. He was pretty consistent all year long. Ward as well. But so we replaced him essentially. We pick up Quincy Williams, all pro. He was an all pro linebacker for the Jets. Supposed to be a 2-year deal. And he at one point with the Jets, he played under our new defensive coordinator, Mike Rutenberg. So I think that's a good pickup. It seems like we're trying to plug holes and do it in a cost-effective manner because we have to. Do you think that, first of all, what do you kind of think about these moves so far?
Yeah, so my question for the offensive line is how many do we need to sign before the draft? So what is our strategy in the draft? Are we just going to go after one offensive lineman, like use one of our first round picks? Are we going after 2 or 3 where we're going to use some later round picks and we're going to have to hope one of those guys actually is good enough to start? Because, if we're overhauling the entire offensive line, we've got 3 now. You need 5 to start. You draft one, that's 4. One that could start, a first rounder. Bitonio may retire. Then who's our 5th starter? Do we need to sign one more right now in free agency? Or are we counting on one of our backups to start? So I'm curious as to how many, this Jenkins signing was a little surprising, but I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we have 3 right now, 3 new ones. But how many more do we get before the draft? How many more do we sign?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I could see us getting. I'm almost certain that one of our first round picks will be used on an offensive lineman.
And I hope so. I really do.
You got to get it right though. You can't
Right.
Jed Wills it.
Nope.
When there's a guy like, I don't know, a Haas from Iowa named Tristan Wirfs.
Yep.
A lot of people talking about this guy. Freeling is a name that's been out there. Maui Noah, Spencer. So you got Fano and Lamu from Utah. So there's a number of guys, but not all of them are natural left tackles. We'll just have to wait and see, and we have to put our faith that Andrew Berry can identify players. Do you feel more confident in his ability to draft after one good draft last year?
Not really. I mean,
okay, good.
Yeah.
We're in the same boat here. We are still skeptical at best. Is that fair?
Because even a blind squirrel can find a nut every once in a while.
You got that right there, buddy. You got that right. What do you think about some of the other moves around the league? Geno Smith going back to the Jets.
It's nothing ever works out for the Jets, so I guess good luck with that.
Yeah, they're going to be terrible. I don't have a lot of confidence in that. I mean, I don't know how much better Geno Smith is than what they had last year, because really they had Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields, and after that, injuries kind of put everything. It was crazy what was going on there. I don't know how much better Geno Smith is. That was just a putrid year in Vegas, although their offensive line was absolute trash. And that's the nicest way I can put it.
Yeah. Now, is it the most Jets move to actually trade for Geno Smith instead of waiting for him to hit the open market? Because the Raiders were going to release him. I know they gave up a 6th-round pick for him. Like, who cares? But still.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. No, that's good. So you like Mike from across the pond and likes what the Raiders are doing and the Panthers. Yeah, the Raiders are making some nice moves. They are going to get Linderbaum, the center from Baltimore. They are building things up. They're building things up because in all likelihood they are going to be getting Fernando Mendoza with the number 1 overall pick. They've got Ashton Genty going into his 2nd year at running back. They got to protect that guy, and they've got to create holes for Ashton Genty to run through. Then this is a good one here. Tua to the Falcons. I'm speechless.
Yeah. Can he be fixed, I guess?
Well,
And
I heard that Kevin Stefanski guy is quite the quarterback whisperer,
right. Yeah, the only thing would be better if it was Baker going to the
Oh,
Falcons.
that would be too funny. Well, one of Baker's targets though, Mike Evans, headed to the West Coast,
Yeah. Do you
headed
wish
over to
we
the
could have
Giants.
gotten him? He's older, but
I
I
think
mean,
there's
man,
I'd
he's
rather have
reliable.
other targets. I love the guy, but he is older, and unless he was willing to come on the cheap, I
So
don't.
do you think just picking one up, say a first round wide receiver, is that going to be enough? First rounder
No, they're
this
going to need.
year, plus Judy, plus everybody else we have that didn't really do much last year.
Well, I like Isaiah Bond's potential. He's got
Mhm.
the speed. Judy, I don't know half of what was going on had to have been mental to drop that many
I think
passes.
he needs to just be a solid number 2 receiver. I think the pressure of being number 1 just gets to him or something.
Well, he kind of sort of was a number 2 receiver, as in I got to do a number 2. Um, and I think that we definitely will be picking up at least one wide receiver, most likely in the first round. Let's wait and see. Romeo Dobbs goes to the Packers. You've got let's see. I'm trying to think. The Colts made some moves, and let's see who went. Somebody Pittman. Let's see. I believe Pittman is Pittman going to the Steelers, or is he staying
He's gone
in?
to the Steelers.
Pittman's going, and they kept Pierce.
Correct. Yep.
All right, I was trying to get those, make sure I had that straight. Hey man, we could get Tyreek Hill. I think he's a potential target.
He's available.
He is, with his destroyed knee and everything.
Yep.
He has destroyed knee. And the one thing I was going to say about Tua going to Atlanta, now Kevin's got 2 left-handed quarterbacks. That maybe they could use a third. I know this. We have that cheaper version of Tua. They call it Timu Tua.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as we get a third rounder back for him, right?
Yeah, I don't even need a third rounder. Give me a fifth. Give me a fifth rounder for that guy, because that's basically what he's worth is a fifth rounder. And then I would use said fifth rounder to potentially go back into the draft. And there's going to be a quarterback late in the draft to get. My thought process is either, we need to see what Shador can do, because any way you slice it, Watson's not going to be around after this season, even though we'll still be paying cap charges on him. And we need to know if Sanders is the guy. If he's not, then we'll be back in the quarterback pool again. Jawan Jennings wants out of San Francisco. That's a possibility. And Ayuk, didn't he get released from the 49ers? They terminated his contract or whatever. There's got to be somebody out there who's a reclamation project. I think that's all we can afford is a reclamation project.
What about talking about quarterbacks? Would you get Murray, who was released by the Cardinals?
Good question. Honestly, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it, except for the fact the question is are you looking at him as long-term or something as short-term? He's going to be on a prove-it deal. And we talked about it last week, and I didn't realize it's going to be super cheap to get.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess I'd rather have him than, as you call him, Temu Tua.
Cam Hayward is going to go back to the Squealers. How old is this guy?
I know. Yeah, well, good luck to him and having no quarterback.
Right, and that's the other thing we were you talk about Pittman going to the Steelers. Who's throwing him the ball?
Yeah, right.
Okay, now this is interesting. Mike says Murray hasn't officially been released yet, not until the start of the new league year tomorrow at 4. So I guess that's when you can kind of talk with him in theory. And there's the answer to my question. Hayward is 37. That's crazy.
Okay.
Are you happy that Malik Willis signed with Miami so that we could stop the ridiculous discussion of a guy who has essentially had one good start
Oh
in
yeah,
his
I mean,
however many year career?
absolutely. I mean, Shador Sanders has more NFL playing time than Willis does, so I'd rather see how he does. Yep, I am absolutely done with that.
What about Baltimore making that huge trade with Las Vegas to get Max Crosby?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm glad they gave up 2 first rounders for it because that should hurt them long term, I think. I'm okay with it, but with the amount of players or weapons that the Ravens have lost too, like Linderbaum, we just talked about, Likely's gone.
Yep.
So they're going to need more help than the Max Crosby they just got. And now they don't have 2 first rounders to help replace these guys.
Right. They're going to have to. Their offense is sketchy, but
Yeah.
but let's look at the coach they brought in. They brought in a defensive coach.
Yeah.
Jesse Minter's a defensive coach. How about Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker, going to the Chiefs? How huge is that for Kansas City? To get that caliber of a running back to help them out in what has become kind of an ailing wide receiver room and passing game.
Yeah, you got that, and Travis Kelce apparently is coming back and back to the Chiefs again. Yeah, that's a big addition for them.
I'm surprised. I guess I'm not shocked, but nevertheless, goodness gravy. The rich get richer, I suppose.
Yeah.
But speaking of people who aren't rich, let's turn our attention over to the Guardians.
The Guards, yes.
All right. Hey, so the Guardians. Hey, did you notice they got a tie the other day against the Rockies?
Oh, nice.
A tie. Should we eliminate extra innings and just have ties now?
No, but what I want them to do is play with the same rules in the playoffs as they do in the regular season for extra innings.
Yeah.
Just pick it. Pick one way. I don't care which way you go, but make it the same.
No, I could get down with that. I could definitely get that one way or the other. Oh my gosh! Wait, what? Maybe he's talking about the Crosby thing. Illegally got announced with, or the Malik Willis thing got done 3 minutes of the tampering window. That's kind of funny. But yeah, so the Guardians. I mean, spring training is going on. Have you been watching the World Baseball Classic? I have not, admittedly, but have you been following that? Because I know you're a bigger baseball fan than I am.
Yeah, we watched. We haven't watched a whole game through, but we watched a few innings of U.S. their first 2 games. We didn't watch the Mexico one, but it's been kind of fun. It's fun to see that the All-Stars are actually playing for Team U.S. because that hasn't always happened. So it looks like we're gonna make it out of the pool play. We got one more game either tonight or tomorrow against I think it's the UK against Britain, and then off to the to the playoffs essentially this weekend. So we'll see. I mean, the hopefully the game, if we end up playing Japan, that's going to be quite a game. Except if I remember right, that's who we played last time. I think it was in 2023 and lost to them. So that'll be a good rematch.
Right, because Shohei Ohtani struck out Mike Trout. Right?
I think you're right. Yeah.
I believe that was the highlight. I don't remember much about that. And, as I said on, the old song, I don't know much about history. Don't know much biology.
Okay. So do you like the World Baseball Classic? I mean, it's like a poor man's version of the World Cup, I guess, but it's something. It's better than just spring training.
Oh, here it is, Mike. They play the Italy at 9 p.m. Italia. Going back to Italia.
Oh, there we go.
There Thanks, it is. Mike. I don't know how many. I don't know. Are there a lot of Italian baseball players?
I don't know.
I don't feel like it is, although I heard a good discussion talking about players in countries such as maybe India and Great Britain who play cricket. And translating that to baseball. So,
well, that's one thing I won't be watching is a World Cricket Classic or whatever.
But you know what? My brother, for his honeymoon, they ended up in England, Ireland, Scotland. He brought me back EA Sports cricket. It didn't work on the computer. I never got it to work. It might have been because you get a European version of something, and it wouldn't work, which sucks because I thought it would have been pretty cool. Quite honestly,
Yeah.
you know what I'm big foreign, sports from across the pond or around the world that I'm a fan of. I love me some Australian rules football. Do you ever watch that?
I have watched it. I don't fully understand all the rules, but it is entertaining to watch, whether you know the rules or not.
Man, well, I just like the official standing there, wearing his white coat, and he's standing there by the goalpost, and you get the try. You got he goes for the try. There it is. I know I'm going to get canceled by some Australian listening here. Speaking of Australians, Travis Bazana, 3 for 16, 1 home run, 2 RBI, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts for Australia in the WBC.
Yeah, so way too early to tell how he's gonna do. I hope he just spends the whole year really in AAA and just works on that, because we have other prospects, I think, that are ahead of him that I'd like to see before him. The biggest fear is, oh crap, we just blew the only number 1 pick we've ever had in the history of our team. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, I think that's a little disappointing, but still way too early to give up on him yet.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying it's like it wasn't the greatest outing for him there. I just saw an article, and yeah, this was updated. It looks like it was updated this morning. I see some players for the Guardians that are being sent to the minors already. Looks like shortstop Angel Hanau, outfielder Khalil Watson, option to AAA Columbus. Right-hander Jack Leftwich, first baseman Ralphie Velasquez, and outfielder Wilfredo Antunez were reassigned to minor league camp. So things are starting to kind of take shape for the Guardians and what we're going to be looking at on opening day when the Guardians play at the Mariners. What a tough way to start. We've talked about it, but boy, we're not going to get an easy start playing in Seattle and then against the Dodgers.
No, but I guess maybe the silver lining, though, is we get them out of the way early. Because, the Dodgers are probably, they're still, every team at the beginning of the year is kind of a question mark. So at least it'll be good weather for them. Seattle's got the roof, LA's LA, and maybe we don't get the best version of the Dodgers early in the year.
I hope so. Hopefully, maybe while we're sitting here chatting, because I want to switch over. I mean, baseball, the guards, we're coming up on the season, but also talked about the college basketball NCAA tournament time coming up here, and the MAC tournament will be headed back to Rocket Arena, and that will be later this week. That'll be fun, and I was curious to see what the Dodgers schedule is, to see if we are their first home series or if they will play. Thank goodness they will celebrate their World Series before the Guardians get into town.
Good.
I don't need them celebrating and being all hyped up for that. They host the Diamondbacks for the first series on Thursday, the 26th, Friday, 27th, Saturday, the 28th. And then the Guardians come in on Monday, March the 30th. Here's a good one. Okay, so first of all, I like this one. Miami of Ohio can get, yep. Yeah. Mine as well.
Yep.
And Bibee, 3 2/3, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 6 strikeouts. That is really, really good to see. I had not seen the box score, so that is fantastic to see. If Bibee can be a number 1 or a 1A, whereas last year he was put in that tough spot of being the quote unquote ace of the staff and never really got it. He just would go out there so often and seem frazzled and unable to find the strike zone early on. It wasn't until toward the latter part of the season that he finally started to figure it out.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the MAC tournament? Get some action here. Miami of Ohio escaped again in overtime in Athens to go undefeated through the regular season.
Yep.
And they go into the conference tournament, the number 1 seed. Do you think Miami will get tripped up? Is there any chance?
Yes. So I think all their overtime games shows that they're beatable. Number one. Number two, it's hard to beat teams 3 times in a year. Now I don't know if they're gonna how the tournament plays out. I can't remember if they're playing a team they've already played twice. I know that Kent's only played them once. Um, and just like what we talked about before with the Cavs, nobody remembers if you lost 3 regular season games to them if you bounce them in the playoffs. Nobody's gonna remember that, Kent lost to Miami in overtime in the regular season if Kent's able to take them out in the playoffs. So I would love to see anybody take them out. One, just because I hate that they went 31-0 and they're the first MAC team to go undefeated in the MAC. And two, I think it gives the MAC the only option we have to get 2 teams in the tournament, which I would love to see.
Right. That was the question, is would it be best for the conference if Miami goes down so that the Mid-American Conference can in fact get 2 teams into the tourney a la 1999, rather than only because I'm pretty certain, let's say it comes down to Akron and Miami in the conference championship, because Akron is the next best team in the conference in terms of, especially in terms of record. I don't know that Akron gets a bid.
Yeah, which is sad because if they should, it's time now. They've expanded the NCAA tournament. It's time now that the MAC gets a little bit more love because um, there are some good schools and they just get overlooked.
They definitely do, although it's one of those things. Even Kent State, Akron, in past years, we haven't had a team win a game probably since maybe Ohio U did it in maybe the COVID year, or the
Yeah.
year after COVID, when they were playing all the games were played in the state of Indiana. And I'm pretty sure that's when Ohio U won a game. But the poor Zips, they've been there quite a few times, haven't won. Kent State, they haven't had a run since 2002. I mean, they can't. They've won in other tournaments, which has been great, but they just, every time they manage to get to the big dance, they just flop.
Yeah. And the problem is too, even in the regular season, we can't ever seem to beat a ranked team. We get close sometimes, but
It
yeah,
hasn't
just
happened in
can't
forever.
do it.
The last time it happened, honestly, was the year that, let's see, we got ourselves ranked with Al Fisher on the team. I think this might have been it. We've had some other big wins since then. I think when Sendy came in, he went on the road, beat West Virginia at West Virginia, but we went to St. Mary's and beat St. Mary's on a
Yeah.
Friday night or Saturday night. I remember staying up late. So the first round matchup is Miami in the quarterfinals. It's Miami versus UMass, then Toledo versus Bowling Green. Miami just recently barely beat Toledo. Akron, the 2 seed, takes on Buffalo, the 7 seed. Kent State, I'm bummed. We got to play Ohio. And Ohio's always going to be tough. Even on neutral floor, they are a difficult matchup. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what version of Kent State shows up.
And then if we win, we'd get
But
Akron again in round 2.
exactly, and I know Drew, who is an Akronite, with his Zips. I'll forgive him for that. And then so that's a good point. Extended from the first 4 to the first 8. I don't know. I'm starting to feel like there are so many. The problem isn't the number of available spots. It's the fact that a mid team from the Big Ten or SEC or whatever, it gets a bid over a top team in a quote unquote mid major conference.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah.
so it'll be all good. It'll be all good. So I think we've got about hit that, and we'll recap it next week. But in the meantime, Mike, let's see. Whoa, wait, is this real? This is
Mike from the UK is usually pretty reliable.
Let's hope he's not getting fooled. Backed out of the crowd. Whoa. We're going to have to keep an eye on that, folks. That could be a major, major development. If in fact that is the case, we will we'll try and look here and see it is. And Drew has confirmed it. We've got two sources now. We've got two sources.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Shefty posted it. Whoa. Wow.
Does that mean that must mean something's wrong with Crosby?
Health-wise,
medical.
Yeah, maybe it is a health thing. Holy smokes, guys, that is amazing breaking news. Thank you to Mike from across the pond. Thank you to Drew, my man, for bringing this to our attention. That is nuts. Well, and it was funny because you were just saying, what if someone just backs out of this thing? And like,
yeah, I guess he doesn't have to erase the Raiders tattoo he has now, so that's good for him.
It is. I guess so. Well, we'll have to touch on that next week. But Mike, why don't you tell everyone what has you going nuclear?
All right, this one's going to be super simple, and it's pretty lame as well, but it was like 75 degrees out today, so I'm in a pretty good mood. What has me going nuclear are these number 2 old school pencils. Okay. Why do we even sell these anymore when we have the technology for the mechanical pencils? All they do, you still use one? Are you serious?
No. I've got
the mechanical. Okay, yes. So that's good. All the old school pencils do. The lead breaks. You need a pencil sharpener. The eraser runs out. They're worthless. Can we just have a universal standard of mechanical pencils from here on out?
That is great. That is hilarious, Mike. Well, they were good for pencil fights. I was never good at that. You remember the pencil fights and you breaking people's pencils all the time? I never was good at that.
I did forget about that. Maybe that's why I hate him so much too. I don't think I was good at those either.
Yeah, I wasn't good at it. That just goes into my lack of athleticism for everything. And that's a good one. Joe Burrow can breathe. And now, but I mean, that's crazy. So I'm with you on that. Well, what has me going nuclear today, Mike, is the school's lack of consideration when it comes to scheduling of activities for our children. And the fact that they will schedule things where you suddenly have to be there to pick them up in the middle of the day or at the end of the school day, or you have to go somewhere else because they're like, oh, we're going on a couple of weeks ago. My daughter goes on a field trip. They're not going to be back till after school. After the buses have already taken everybody home, you have to come pick them up. And mind you, it's the middle of the workday. Oh, my son's got to go to a band concert. Oh, or a band assessment. Well, it's a mandatory thing. They're taking you too, but they aren't bringing you back to the school. So not only do I have to pick him up and him not come home on the bus, I have to go to somewhere else to do it. I'm like, what in the world is going on here? Do you ever remember going to school and them not having you back in time to get the bus to go home?
Yeah, they just leave you to fend for yourself. This is good luck.
I mean, like, do they not understand adults have to work?
Yeah.
I don't know. It never ceases to amaze
me.
I
can't solve that. No.
No. I'm gonna one of these days I am gonna have to have a conversation with somebody to find out what the heck their thinking is and their thought process, especially for things that are required as part of a class. And yet you're inconveniencing parents for this type of stuff. We're not talking about just a extracurricular activity, that we're talking about a class. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And it certainly makes me upset. It makes me go nuclear. And all right, we're going to keep tracking this, Mike. Thank you. All the insider now tweeting about the Crosby trade. Well, this is just great drama. I love the theater. I love the drama. So, Mike, appreciate your time as always, sir. Thank your family for giving you up for an hour this evening. And we'll be back next week to kind of break all the news and happenings down. We'll talk MAC tournament, talk more about what's been happening in free agency in the NFL, and the Guardians are inching closer, and we'll have more Cavs news, I'm sure. So for Mike Rasinski, I'm Ethan Greenberg, and you have been tuned in to Going nuCLEar, full-blown coverage of the land, part of Collectin' and Connectin', a Good Vibes community.